Hello, welcome to another edition this week of the Jack and Joe Show. Um, we weren't expected to do a video, but then we won 7-0. Joe Sansom, how are you?
Really good. Don't think I'll be as good as you because you actually got to witness it and you got to witness history live in the flesh. Um, I mean, the biggest Fulham win in my lifetime, the biggest Fulham win in your lifetime.
Mm,
Didn't think I'd ever see us win a game 7-0. And it got to the point when the goals were going in, I was just like in disbelief. I was barely celebrating, like almost just laughing.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know if we'll I don't know how it can be topped now, but it was just we had to talk about it. We had to do a video.
Mm.
We said that we'd talk after the Peterborough game. Unless we win 8-0, we can't top it. But yeah, how was it to be there and see it live?
Um, it was really good. The fact that we got off to a really good start and we were
Yeah,
2-0 up within 20 minutes. I was thinking this game's dead and buried already, especially with the red card, which, by the way, was a definite red card. And I said to Matthew at half time, my brother, who I went up to go and see to go watch the game, I said, "This is either going to finish 2-0 or like 6-0 because we could just run riot." And it just so happened that we did do that. Of course, we scored an extra goal in making it 7. And what was great about the game is that people who go to midweek games up north, we tend to. I remember last time I went up north for a big midweek game, we lost, I think, to Preston
Preston.
2-1,
Yeah,
and it was really rubbish. So it was great to see that the 401 fans who went up there were rewarded with not only 3 points and a clean sheet, but with 7 goals. And I thought we could have probably had about 10 or 11, given the chance that Mitrovic had before half time, Harrison Reed shot, the Wilson shot from the halfway line, which was inches away. Like,
yeah.
genuinely, it could have been double figures, and we would have been good value for it. And actually, I know Blackburn got a red card and stuff, but they really didn't threaten at all.
No,
At
no.
all.
Wasn't impressed with Blackburn, and slight pet peeve to get out of the way because I had the unfortunate displeasure of having to listen to Sky's commentary, giving massive credit to Blackburn for keeping going. Um,
Mm,
what were they supposed to do? They're professional
yeah.
footballers. Didn't understand that at all, but agree. The red card, I think, will make a lot of people look at this result. And look, don't get me wrong, if they didn't have a player sent off, I don't think we would have won 7-0.
Mm,
This result was nothing to do with the red card. We had a lot more space and we scored a lot more goals as a result of it, but I think we'd have hammered them either way. I think it's the best we played in weeks. It
mm,
felt like that weird period against Nottingham Forest where we scored 2 goals and the penalty
mm,
within about 10 minutes when we were together at Nottingham Forest, Jack.
mm,
It felt like that for the whole of the second half and also
mm,
most of the first. Comfortable defensively. Every time we went forward, we looked dangerous. And Cabana and Wilson on either side, I just thought were fantastic, both of them. I could have given a man of the match to either of them. Think I did vote for Wilson, who won it in the end. Great to see him back in the goals. And it just shows, there's goals all around this team. And then at the final whistle, Marco Silva talking to the press, and he's complaining that we don't score enough with our centre backs from corners.
unbelievable.
I love it. I love it. He
Yeah.
wants more. And it's good that we're spreading the goals around. And it just makes me so excited now for this Peterborough game that we get to see Fulham again only a couple of days later before this international break, which we don't really want to come now the way that we're
Mm,
playing. It's just great to see the fact that compared to last year, and I'm aware that it's a different league, I'm so confident when we attack now that we're at least going to fashion a good chance. And most
mm,
of the time we're scoring. And it's so exciting to watch.
mm,
And one of the main things that I want in football is to be entertained. Sky was saying that Parker and Silva had similar styles of football. I'm just not even going to comment on that because what I'm seeing this season, in terms of when it's good, excites me more than Slav's football.
mm,
In terms of the attacking, it's the best I've seen. I was too young when we got promoted in around 2000
mm,
to Ghana's team. I was too young for that. This is the best football when it's good at the moment that I've seen at Fulham in
mm.
terms of the attacking. I think it's just brilliant.
And there's a point to be made here, which I started thinking about a little bit earlier, and that the fact that we lost to Coventry, and then we had 6 games before the next international break, the third international break, the November game, and we've won 5 out of 5 so far. And if we were to win tomorrow against Peterborough, this would have to be, for me, considering how many goals we've scored and we've only conceded the one so far, touch wood, this would have to be the best period of run of games that I've seen probably ever for Fulham. And that's because of the reaction to that horrendous defeat. Like, it was so bad. The
Yeah.
worst away day I've ever done, ever. The reaction to beat QPR, the goals we've scored, the amount of chances we've created, the 7 goals at Blackburn. If we then went to Peterborough tomorrow and won, and even if we don't, even if we draw or lose, these block of 5 games have been revolutionary because they've not only got us back on the map, they've got us now into the top 2. They've got us 2 points behind Bournemouth, and the goals are just coming from everywhere. Doesn't always have to be Mitrovic now. We scored 6 goals on Tuesday, which were not Mitrovic. Sorry, Wednesday. I mean, the game has been talked about enough, but is there anything you want to touch on before we move on to talk about Bournemouth and Peterborough?
One thing I super quickly want to touch on is just building on your point there, is that when we spoke after the Coventry game, we were both quite low. Obviously, it was a grim result and performance, and if you went, a grim day just in general.
Awful.
Since then, we looked at the fixtures that were coming up, and if you look at them on paper, QPR, local derby, doing quite well. Cardiff, never easy, even though they were on a bad run. West Brom, huge game. Nottingham Forest and Blackburn away. Mucked up the order a bit there, but who cares? But all of those are banana skins. There's not one game there that is an easy game. I know there's none in the Championship anyway, but, for example, if you had someone in the bottom 3 or newly promoted 3 at home, like, for example, just as an example, we didn't have that. We had tough games and we come out of them with flying colours. We've won every single one comfortably. We've conceded 1 goal. We've kept 4 clean sheets in a row. And that's what I wanted to focus on, was we've managed to change the defence. We brought in Hector, and yes, the red card helps, but we were going up against the second top scorer in the league and he didn't have a sniff all game. You could have forgotten he was there. And for half an hour, they had 11 men on the pitch. They were missing Gallagher, who was a big miss for them, but we completely kept him quiet, nullified him without, in my opinion, our best defender and our second best defender, because Tete and Tosin, neither of them were playing. We've got a back 4 of 3 of which played the last time that we played Blackburn, and we won 1-0 when we had Brian, Ream, Hector, Odoi. The team's not changed, but it has, because of the management, and we look so much more confident and solid. And for once, we're not a team that is going for the top 2 but doesn't look like a top team. In 2019-20, I thought we looked below the quality of Leeds and below the quality of West Brom.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though we had the quality, if you see what I mean. This time we don't. This time we are one of the teams that looks a cut above the rest. And the West Brom game was a good example of that. And if we can keep this up, then I really hope we can start to make this gap bigger and really become the team that is there to be chased rather than the team that's chasing.
And the fact that we're now only 2 points behind Bournemouth, we are now the bookie favourite to win the league.
Yeah, wow.
Which obviously it's probably swayed a bit because Bournemouth have been on this great run and they lost. I was going to touch on. Someone made a very funny comment to me on Wednesday night in the ground. He said if this was Parker, we would be 1-0 up, but we'd have 5 at the back right now, and we'd be trying to hold on to what we've got, even with 10 men. I said that's really funny because it's basically true. What I'm trying to say is that in those group of 5 games, if we were under Parker, we wouldn't have got the results we'd have got. We would have dropped points somewhere. We wouldn't have scored as many goals.
I feel like Bournemouth and West Brom, I think I said this to you earlier, I feel like they're both good sides, and at the moment it seems like they're both 2 functional sides. And what I mean by that is they've got a system, and if the system works, then they will likely win 1 or 2-0, something like that. They will get through. They won't concede too many chances. They won't create that much, but they'll get through quite solidly. And Bournemouth had a brilliant run. Fair play to them. They drew 4, but they won about 11 out of 15 games, and that is phenomenal. But if you look at the performances, a lot of those times they were quite close games, and they've just sort of seen their way through. With us, we've had a few big blips like Coventry, but when we're on it, we don't look functional. We look exceptional. And I think if we can keep that up, yes, we're probably going to lose a few more. The way that we play, it almost invites pressure on, and sometimes it won't work out. The Reading game's a great example where we battered them, Another day we probably win 3 or 4, 1 or 2, whatever. But we lost 2-1, and that's going to happen. But I think that we will get more positive results than negative by playing this way. And I feel a result like this was coming. I feel like it was very similar to the Millwall performance, but we actually managed to get the goals. We absolutely battered Millwall, and we could have scored like up to 10 then. It was always going to click against someone, and it clicked against Blackburn, and now we just need to follow it up.
Yeah, it's almost the perfect fixture this coming up, Peterborough, because yes, they got an okay result coming back from behind against Huddersfield to get a draw. Johnson Clark-Harris will be back in the team, I'm sure. Sariki Dembele, who we've talked about for quite a long time, he'll be definitely in the team.
When's he signing? Surely signing soon.
Surely he's pending. But there is a quality gap. I think it's the most expensive team in the league against squad against the least expensive squad in the Championship. This is, I think it's a banana skin away from home. They'll have their tails up after a draw, after coming back to get the point. And we'll be coming off a massive high against Blackburn, where obviously we're not going to win 7-0 again. We probably will have the majority of the chances and a lot of possession. I'm expecting a big performance with Fulham, especially with a lot of travelling fans coming. So let me get your thoughts on what you think this is going to be like, and maybe a score prediction, and what your team is.
Yeah, well, I think, like you say, it's not an easy game, and actually at home they've been okay. Peterborough, it's definitely away they've struggled more. And if you look at when they played Bournemouth and West Brom, they've already played both at home. They held Bournemouth to a 0-0 draw. Bournemouth at that point had won quite a few in a row, was scoring every game. They just set up shop, kept a clean sheet, and actually defended very, very well. Limited Bournemouth to very few chances. Against West Brom, they did similar and actually could have nicked it. West Brom scored in the 94th minute. So very, very close to 2 0-0 draws against the other two standout teams, you'd say. It's a weird game because they do have quality, and Sariki Dembele, I think you've called out perfectly as a quality player. He was the difference against QPR a couple of weeks ago, who they beat 2-1 again in the last minute. In terms of the team that I would play, I'm very tempted not to change too much because we've literally just won 7-0. And then there is a part of me that thinks we played 3 games in a week. Quite a few of those players have played 90. I would be perfectly happy if the exact same team came out that started against Blackburn. But equally, I wouldn't be surprised if Tete came in for Odoi, who just played 2 90 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Kearney come in from the start this time. Those are probably the only 2 where I think that there's option for change. Wouldn't expect to see anyone else start. Hector did well the other day, did what he had to do. So I think I'd go unchanged. If I was going to change anything, I'd consider swapping Tete in, but Odoi was fine again, did well, no need to drop him. And Kearney did very well when he came on, but I don't particularly want to displace any of the midfield 3 at the moment. In terms of my score prediction, I do agree it's a banana skin, but I do think that we've got too much for them. And I think that if we can play well like we did the other day, I think that I expect us to score more goals. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 Fulham win. I'm feeling quite confident about this one. And this might age terribly because I'm touching wood. But if you look at the sides on paper, there's a bigger quality gap than there was against Blackburn. And we dealt with them very, very well. We dealt with everyone very well since Coventry. And if we can just get one more win before the international break, as you say, just the perfect run of 6 games since Coventry.
Yeah, I want to see the green W on the Flash Score app. That's what makes me really happy.
6, yeah.
Yeah, just all in a row after that defeat to Coventry. I have to completely agree with you. Tete comes in for Odoi for me. I don't think Adoi's got the stamina to play 90 minutes in a week. It's good that he's rested enough so he can just go straight in. And the good thing about this is we've got an international break coming up. So if there are any injuries or small little things that happen in the game, hopefully they have enough time to recover for the next game against Barnsley. And I'm also going to say 3-0 Fulham. I think there'll be another clean sheet. We've just got to start fast. As long as we start fast and do very similar things to what we did against Blackburn, create the chances, get in behind, get Mitrovic on the score sheet early days, I think we'll be okay. It's a big game. It's one I'm expecting us to win, but you just never know with the Sky Bet Championship. That's the problem with this league. You know, there's been many a time when we're expected to win, home to Hull, at home to Barnsley, we've ended up losing 3-0 each way. That was under a different manager. I think Marcus Silva's got in a really good place right now, and I'm really confident. Really
Yeah,
confident.
I agree, and I feel like, with no disrespect to Peterborough at all, if you're going to pick a team for us to try and follow up a big win against, it would be the one with the worst defence in the league on
Mm,
paper in terms of goals conceded, and that is Peterborough.
mm,
I think second worst is Cardiff, and obviously we
mm.
found it tough in the first half against them, and they defended very resolutely. I feel like it's going to be one of those where we need to break them down. We need to score the first goal. If we don't, it could be very difficult. But the way we're playing at the moment, I expect us to score the first goal. Teams sitting back against us, teams coming at us. Since Coventry, no one's been able to find a way to break through other than that
Mm.
one Lyndon Dykes goal. So I'm confident in our defence, and that gives us a good foundation to go and try and nick that first goal.
One more question before we go: Will we be top of the league by tomorrow evening, going into the international break?
I really want to say yeah, but I don't think so. I don't think we will, and I think the reason for that is that actually, wait, hang on a second. We're 2 points behind, aren't we?
We're only 2 points behind.
I
We'd
was
only
thinking
need.
we're 3 points behind. Yeah, go on. We'll be top of the league. We'll be top of the league.
Who are Bournemouth playing?
Swansea at home. And Swansea have been very, very
Oh,
good recently.
yeah.
They beat Coventry, and I expect them to go there and dominate the ball. And I feel like in their current form, they can grab at least a point. And if they grab a point and we win, we go top on goal difference, because I think it was the wonderful article, if you read Jack and Loz on Twitter, who do a match report every game, they pointed this out to me, and I haven't checked it, so I hope they're right. They said our goal difference is the same as Bournemouth's and West Brom's combined. So
No,
we are slightly ahead on that front. So if
20 high, isn't it?
Bournemouth draw or lose and we win, we go top. So I'm going to stick my neck out and say yes after realising we're only 2 points behind.
What is going to be fascinating is Russell Martin's passing side, Swansea, up against Scott Parker's. Not really sure what he's doing, because I don't pay too much attention with Bournemouth this season. Because, like, even on
Yeah,
EFL on
yeah.
Quest on Wednesday night when he was being interviewed, I just skipped through it because I just did not want to hear it.
Yeah,
Even
him and his
though they
friend
lost,
Matt Wells. I just sort of block out the noise.
the noise, as which he would say, and I'm sure that's his first bump in the road this season, apart from that 6-0 drubbing they got at Norwich, which was such a weird game if you really think about where the two sides are right now.
Yeah,
Um,
massively.
and that's it today. I wish we could have gone live yesterday, but technical issues made it so it wasn't the case. But it just means, I'm sure if something else happens big, I'm sure we'll cover it in a couple of weeks' time. Joe, 7-0. I feel like we haven't really talked about it enough, but we've
Yeah,
scored
it's
7 away from home. I mean, the most I've ever seen us score away from home is 5 and
yeah,
6. I haven't seen us score 6 since we played Burton Albion.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
7, I've just never seen that before.
No, it's completely like uncharted waters for
Mm.
us and for a club like
And
us. I saw when Chelsea beat Norwich 7-0 the other day, I was thinking,
of course, yes.
I mean, that's in the Premier League, and I know that that's very much the top team against the bottom team. But even then, it was sort of raising eyebrows. And it's like, oh my goodness, never thought it would be us doing that to someone.
Norwich did beat Huddersfield last season 7-0 behind
Yes,
closed doors. That was live on Sky. And what was great about this, it was live on Sky, so I've got it recorded, so I don't have to that just stays in the recorded list for a long time,
yeah.
because my parents deleted Liverpool away for some reason. Like, I know it's obviously irrelevant. I probably wouldn't want to watch it back, given that Parker's not even there anymore. But it was still a great game. Why
I
they
think they're
deleted it?
taking it, forgetting last season a bit too literally. I
Yeah.
think.
I think all the ones I've got recorded are ones from earlier this season, the likes of Swansea and well, West Brom. We've been on TV so much; it's been
Yeah,
unbelievable. But
Sky
let's.
Sports Fulham, isn't it?
It is Sky Sports Fulham, and we'll be back on Sky, I think, against Bournemouth and Sheffield United. I think that's the next time we're going to be on there.
Yeah.
For
Oh, and
now,
Preston as
and
well.
Preston, yeah, 12:30. Christ, a 7:13 train from Euston is the one to get on. Um, Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy your day out tomorrow. If you're going to be there, come and say hello. Let's have a drink.
Oh, and before we go, Jack, we should say that we would really appreciate any votes
Mm,
in the Football Supporters Association vote, we're up for best fan media, and we're quite compared to some. I think Sammy pointed out on the podcast yesterday, for anyone who hasn't listened to it, that we're up against some real like titans.
Yeah.
Like we've got Arseblog from Arsenal. We've got, I think, is it the Anfield Wrap?
Anfield Wrap.
There's a Newcastle one as well, So, but we'd really appreciate any votes, to even just help us like get up the leaderboard, because we've really enjoyed producing these videos for the past couple of years as part of it, and we know that we've got quite a good following now. We feel like we've got quite a good community here, and we'd really appreciate any votes. I think we'll put the link in the description, but you can also find it on socials. But if you could just spare 2 minutes, you don't even have to vote for the other categories. If you just vote for Fulhamish in the fan media section, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, we would really appreciate that. It's going to be tough given the category we're in and who we're up against.
Yeah.
But we've been there before in terms of we've been nominated before, I think, in different categories. I actually went to one of the award ceremonies the first time, and it was such a great night. It was honestly one of the best nights, although we didn't win. But then a couple of years later, we did win Fan Podcast of the Year. It would be lovely for you to vote. It takes, like you said, just takes a couple of minutes, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow at Peterborough. Early doors, 11 a.m. I'm in Peterborough. Happy days. And yeah, let's go Fulham. Let's make it 6 from 6. Joe, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks a lot, Jack. It's always a pleasure. And I hope that at some point, again, we do talk about another game where we score 7 goals, but I do doubt it.
Perhaps it'll be 8. You never know.
Yeah.
And also look out for the international break. We're hoping to get a really nice special guest on during the international break to talk more about Fulham and hopefully Bournemouth 0, Swansea 7. See you later, guys. Thanks very much.